Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Learning English Through Everyday Situations. I'm Anna, your host, and today we have a very practical and interesting topic for you: grocery shopping at the supermarket. Grocery shopping is something we all do, almost every week. It's a routine, but it's also full of opportunities to practice English in real life. By the end of this episode, not only will you understand common phrases used in supermarkets, but you will also hear how native speakers naturally talk while shopping. Joining me today is my good friend and co-host, Ben. Hi, Ben.
Hi, Anna. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to talk about grocery shopping. It's something I do all the time, and I know it can be tricky for learners because there are so many words, signs, and even numbers to understand.
Exactly. So today we'll go through a typical shopping trip, from planning your grocery list to checking out at the register. We'll include dialogues, explanations, and some tips for listening clearly. Let's start at the very beginning: preparing a grocery list. Segment 1: Preparing a grocery list. Ben, when you plan your grocery shopping, what's the first thing you do?
Well, the first thing I usually do is look at what I already have at home. I check the fridge, the pantry, and sometimes even the freezer. This way, I don't buy items I already have.
That's a smart approach. So essentially, you are taking an inventory. Could you give an example of how you make a list?
Sure, I usually divide my list into categories. For example, I have fruits and vegetables, dairy products, meat and seafood, pantry staples like rice, pasta, and canned goods, snacks and drinks. This helps me move through the supermarket efficiently without going back and forth.
Great. So we can see that planning is key. Also, learners should know some common phrases like "I need to buy," "I'm out of," and "Do we have any?"
Right. For example, I might say, I need to buy some apples because we're out of them. Or, do we have any milk left in the fridge? These are very typical phrases used in everyday shopping.
Perfect. Now that we have a list, let's head to the supermarket. Segment 2: Entering the supermarket. As soon as you enter the supermarket, what do you usually see first?
Well, many supermarkets have shopping carts or baskets at the entrance. You can take one depending on how much you plan to buy.
Yes, that's important. Learners should also notice signs like fresh produce, bakery, dairy, and so on. These signs guide you to different sections of the store.
Exactly. And sometimes supermarkets place promotional signs like buy one, get one free or 50% off near the entrance to attract attention.
So it's useful to know some vocabulary for offers and promotions. Words like discount, sale, special offer, reduced price.
Right. And while we're walking through the store, we might see different layouts. For instance, fruits and vegetables are usually at the front, bakery on the side, dairy towards the back, and frozen foods in the far corners.
That's a common layout in American supermarkets. It encourages you to walk through more aisles and maybe buy more than you planned. Segment 3: Selecting items. Now, let's imagine we're at the produce section. Ben, how do you usually pick fruits and vegetables?
I check for freshness and quality. For example, when choosing apples, I look for firmness, no bruises, and vibrant color. For leafy vegetables, I check if the leaves are green and crisp, not wilted.
Good advice. And it's also important to know how to ask questions in English at the supermarket. For example, are these apples organic? How much are these grapes per pound? Do you have any bananas that are ripe?
Right, and notice the word per pound. In the U.S., fruits and vegetables are often sold by weight. 1 pound is approximately 0.45 kilograms.
Great tip. Let's move on to the dairy section.
In the dairy section, we have milk, cheese, yogurt, and butter. You need to check the expiration date carefully. Phrases like best by or use by are commonly printed on packages.
Exactly. You can ask, "Excuse me, which yogurt is low fat?" Or, "Do you have lactose-free milk?"
And for cheese, sometimes it's sold in blocks, slices, or shredded. It's good to know the differences if you want to follow a recipe.
Segment 4. Meat, seafood, and specialty items. Next, let's go to the meat and seafood section. Ben, what should we know here?
Freshness is key. Look for clear eyes in fish, firm meat, and avoid anything with a bad smell. Also, ask the staff for assistance. You can say, "Can I have 1 pound of chicken breast, please?" Or, "Do you have any fresh salmon today?"
Sometimes meat is sold pre-packaged, and sometimes you can ask the butcher to cut it for you. Phrases like, "Can you slice it thin?" or "I'd like it trimmed to fat, please," are useful.
Right, and don't forget about specialty items, like gluten-free products, organic items, or international foods. Signs usually indicate these, but you can ask, "Do you carry gluten-free pasta?"
Segment 5. Pantry staples. Now let's move to the pantry section. Then, what are common items here?
You'll find rice, pasta, canned goods, cooking oil, spices, and sauces. It's important to check brand names, price, and quantity.
Also, look for words like low sodium, whole grain, or organic if you have specific preferences.
Yes, and don't forget about reading nutrition labels. For example, calories, fat content, protein, and sugar levels.
Right. And if you're learning English, try saying sentences like, "I need a can of tomatoes for my pasta sauce." Or, "Could you show me where the olive oil is?" Segment 6. Snacks and beverages. Next up, snacks and beverages. Ben, what can we find here?
You'll see chips, cookies, nuts, soft drinks, juices, and sometimes coffee and tea. Labels can be tricky because there are many flavors and variations.
Exactly. Some words you may encounter are original, barbecue, low sugar, caffeine-free, sparkling water, and energy drink.
And don't forget frozen desserts. Ice cream, frozen yogurt, popsicles. Phrases like chocolate flavor, vanilla, or strawberry are very common.
Segment 7. Checking out. Finally, we arrive at the checkout. Then, what's the usual procedure?
You line up in a queue, place your items on the conveyor belt, and the cashier scans each item. You can hear phrases like, "Do you have a loyalty card? Paper or plastic? Would you like to donate $1 to charity?"
Exactly. And payment can be by cash, card, or mobile payment. You might also hear, "Please swipe your card," or "Insert your PIN."
And after payment, you pack your groceries. Some supermarkets provide bags, or you can bring your own.
Yes, packing is a good moment to practice English. Like, "Do you need help with the bags?" or "Can you put the eggs on top?" Segment 8. Tips for learners. Before we finish, let's give some tips for learners shopping in an English-speaking supermarket.
Sure. Tip 1, listen carefully to the announcements and signs. Supermarkets often have promotions announced over the speakers.
Tip 2. Practice common phrases before going shopping. For example, "Where's the bread?" or "How much is this per pound?"
Tip 3, ask questions politely. Use "excuse me" and "could you please."
Tip 4. Read labels carefully. This helps with vocabulary for food, nutrition, and cooking.
And tip 5, enjoy the experience. Shopping can be a fun way to practice English in real life.
Segment 9. Call to action. We hope this episode has helped you understand grocery shopping in English. Remember, practicing in real-life situations is one of the fastest ways to improve your English skills. We'd love to hear from you. Please comment below and tell us, what's your favorite grocery item? Do you have any tips for shopping in English? Or share a funny story from your shopping experiences.
Yes, we read every comment, and your tips may even be featured in our next episode.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with friends who are learning English.
See you next time at the supermarket, and happy shopping!
Bye, everyone.